The space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was massive, bigger than any city on Earth. Thousands of alien ships moved around it like bees around a hive. Inside the station, Ambassador One walked through a long hallway. His black suit was perfectly pressed. His face was calm, but his heart beat fast. Behind him walked three other humans. His wife Jin wore a dark blue dress. She carried a data pad with all their presentation files. Colonel Jinho Park walked in his military uniform, his eyes watching everything. The young woman Lee held a small device that would translate their words into alien languages. "Remember," one said quietly, "we represent all of humanity today. Stay calm no matter what happens." They had traveled for 3 weeks to reach this place. Earth had been contacted by aliens 5 years ago. At first, humanity was excited. They thought they would make friends with other species in the galaxy. They thought they would learn and trade and grow together. But the Galactic Council was not friendly. The Council ruled over 47 alien species. They had laws that every species must follow. When they found Earth, they were not happy. Humans had started testing faster-than-light travel. The Council said this was illegal. Humans had built colonies on Mars and Europa. The Council said this was aggressive expansion. One knew the truth. The Council did not want competition. They wanted to control humanity before humans became too strong. The hallway opened into a huge chamber. It was shaped like a half-circle. Hundreds of aliens sat in high seats looking down at the floor. Some had scales, some had fur, some looked like insects, some were just floating lights. At the highest seat sat Chancellor. He was tall with gray skin and 4 arms. His eyes were cold. "The humans may approach," announced. His voice boomed through the chamber. One and his team walked to the center of the floor. He looked up at the Council. He had prepared for this moment for months. He knew what to say. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," one began. "I am one ambassador of Earth. We come in peace. We come with open hearts and minds. We wish to join the galactic community as equals." Some aliens made strange sounds. One realized they were laughing. "Equals," said. "You are children playing with toys you do not understand. Your species discovered radio waves only 200 of your years ago. You are infants." Jin squeezed her husband's hand once. It was their signal. Stay calm. "We may be young," one said, "but we are capable. We have survived wars and diseases. We have split the atom and walked on our moon. We have created art and music. We have rights and laws. We deserve respect." "Respect must be earned," another alien said. This one looked like a giant bird. "You have broken our laws. You tested weapons in your solar system. You sent ships into deep space without permission." "We did not know your laws existed," one replied. "You never told us. How can we follow rules we never heard?" Slammed one of his hands on his seat. "Ignorance is not an excuse. The Council has decided. Earth will become a vassal state. You will destroy your military. You will stop all space expansion. You will accept Council observers on your planet. You will pay tribute every year." The room went silent. One felt his blood turn cold. This was worse than he expected. Vassal state meant slavery. It meant Earth would have no freedom. "No," one said. His voice was quiet but clear. "What did you say?" Leaned forward. "I said no." One stood taller. "Humanity will not bow. We came here for friendship. We came for peace, but we will not accept slavery." Jinho Park's hand moved toward his weapon, but there was nothing there. They had been forced to come unarmed. Lee's face went pale. Jin stepped forward beside her husband. "Please," Jin said, "let us negotiate. There must be a solution that works for everyone." "There is no negotiation," said. "The Council has voted. The decision is made. Will you accept or will we force you?" One looked at his team. He looked at his wife. Then he looked back at, "I speak for 6 billion humans. I cannot agree to make them slaves. If that is your only offer, then we have nothing more to discuss." The chamber exploded with noise. Aliens shouted in 100 languages, raised all 4 arms. "Silence," he roared. When the room was quiet again, he spoke with ice in his voice. "Then you have chosen war, but first you will be punished for your insolence. You dared to challenge the Council's authority. You dared to speak against our judgment. For this crime, the sentence is death." "What?" Jin gasped. "You cannot." "I can," said. "I am Chancellor. My word is law. Guards." 6 armed aliens appeared. They were huge, covered in black armor. They grabbed one. Jinho tried to fight, but he was hit with an energy weapon. He fell to the ground, screamed. Jin ran toward her husband, but the guards pushed her back. "No, please," Jin cried. "He is a diplomat. You cannot kill a diplomat. It is against every law." "Against human laws, perhaps," said. "But you are not in human space anymore. You are in council space. Here, my word is the only law that matters." They dragged one to the center of the chamber. They forced him to his knees. A guard pulled out a weapon that glowed with blue energy. One looked at his wife. Tears ran down Jin's face. "I love you," he said. "Tell Earth. Tell them to be strong. Tell them to be ready." "Any last words?" asked with a cruel smile. One turned his head to look up at the Chancellor. His voice was steady. "You do not know what you have started. Humanity remembers. We never forget. You will regret this day." Laughed. "Brave words from a dead man. Proceed." The guard pressed the weapon to one's head. There was a flash of blue light. One ambassador of Earth fell to the floor. His body lay still. Jin's scream echoed through the chamber. Jinho slowly pushed himself up, his face twisted with rage and pain, sobbed into her hands. "Let this be a lesson," announced to the council. "This is what happens when primitives forget their place. Take his body. Send these 3 back to Earth. Tell their leaders they have 30 days to accept our terms, or we will come to enforce them." The guards picked up one's body and put it in a transport container. They grabbed the 3 survivors and dragged them from the chamber. As they left, Jin looked back one last time. She saw hundreds of aliens watching. Some looked pleased, some looked uncomfortable, but none of them helped. In that moment, something inside Jin changed. The sadness turned to something harder, something colder. Her husband was dead, murdered while trying to make peace. The council had made a terrible mistake. They thought killing one man would make humanity afraid. They thought it would make humans bow. They were wrong. They had just started a war. The news reached Earth 3 days later. The message traveled through space at the speed of light. When it arrived, the entire planet stopped. Every television showed the same image. Every phone displayed the same message. Ambassador 1 was dead, executed by the Galactic Council, murdered while trying to make peace. In Seoul, people poured into the streets. They cried, they shouted, they held candles. In New York, crowds gathered in silence. In Mumbai, London, Tokyo, and millions of people watched the sky with anger in their eyes. For the first time in human history, the entire planet felt the same emotion at the same time: rage. President Yang sat in his office in Geneva. The United Earth Government headquarters was chaos. Every phone was ringing. Every screen showed protests and anger. His secretary rushed in. "Sir, the ship carrying the body just entered orbit. Mrs. is asking to address the planet." "Let her," Yang said. His voice was tired. He had not slept in 3 days. "The people need to hear from her." An hour later, Jin stood before cameras. Her eyes were red from crying, but her back was straight. She wore black. Behind her stood Jinho Park and Lee. Jinho's jaw was tight, looked broken. "My husband is dead," Jin began. Her voice was strong despite the pain. "He went to the stars with hope. He believed we could find friends out there. He believed we could join the galactic community in peace. He was wrong. The Council does not want peace. They want slaves. They want us to bow and accept their rule. They want us to give up our freedom." She paused. Billions of people watched her. Billions of people waited for her next words. My husband's last words were humanity remembers. He was right. We do remember. We remember every wrong done to us. We remember every time someone tried to crush us. And we remember that we always fight back. Always. Her voice grew harder. The council thinks killing one man will make us afraid. They think we will surrender in 30 days. They are wrong. They have never seen what humanity does when someone pushes us too far. They have never seen what we become when we are threatened. They will learn. The broadcast ended. The planet erupted, not in fear, in determination. President Yang called an emergency meeting. Every world leader appeared on screens around the table. Defense Minister one stood at the front. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had been a general before becoming a minister. Everyone respected her. We need to discuss our options, Yang said. The council gave us 30 days. What can we do? One leader said, maybe we should negotiate. Maybe we can find a compromise. There is no compromise with tyrants, one said coldly. They killed our ambassador. That is an act of war. We must respond. Another leader asked, but how? Their technology is more advanced. They have hundreds of worlds. We only have Earth and a few colonies. One smiled. It was not a happy smile. That is what they think. That is what we wanted them to think. But we have been preparing for this possibility since first contact. She pressed a button. The screens changed. They showed images of weapons and ships, technology that should not exist. What is this? Someone asked. This is Project Prometheus, one explained. For 5 years we have been preparing. We knew the council might be hostile. We found a crashed alien probe 30 years ago. We kept it secret. We studied it. We learned from it, and we built weapons. Admiral Sung-Ho Nam stepped forward. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and a commanding presence. We have been building a secret fleet, stealth ships that their sensors cannot see, weapons that can destroy their shields, faster-than-light drives that are better than theirs. How? A leader asked. How did we do this so fast? Dr. Bin, the head scientist, appeared on a screen. She was young, only 35, but brilliant. We did not invent new technology. We perfected what we already had. Humans are good at war. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We know how to kill efficiently. We just needed better tools. She showed images of weapons. These are quantum disruption missiles. They create tiny black holes. These are antimatter bombs. These are plasma cannons. And this, she showed an image of a massive ship, is the Wraith system. Robot warships controlled by artificial intelligence. They learn from every battle. They adapt. They do not feel fear or mercy. The room was silent. Every leader stared at the screens. Are you saying, one leader asked slowly, that we can fight them? No, Admiral Sung-Ho said. We can destroy them. The question is, do we want to? President Yang stood up. He looked around the table at every face. They executed our ambassador. They threatened our planet. They gave us a choice, be slaves or be destroyed. I say we give them a third option. We show them what happens when you threaten humanity. Defense Minister one nodded. We have a plan, Operation Prometheus. We will not wait for their deadline. We will strike first. We will hit them so hard they will never threaten us again. Colonel Jinho Park, now promoted to general, spoke up. I volunteer to lead the ground forces. One was my friend. I will make sure his death is not forgotten. Lee, the young translator, stepped forward. I want to help too. I watched him die. I want to be part of the response. One by one, the leaders voted. Some were afraid, some were unsure. But in the end, they all agreed. Earth would not surrender, Earth would fight. The vote was unanimous. War was declared. The next days were busy. Every factory started making weapons. Every shipyard worked day and night building warships. Every soldier trained harder. Every scientist worked on new technology. One's funeral was held in Seoul. 3 billion people watched on screens. His coffin was draped with the flag of United Earth. Jin placed her hand on it and whispered, I will make them pay. I promise. Admiral Sung-ho gathered his officers on the new flagship, the Indomitable. It was a massive warship, 5 kilometers long, covered in weapons and armor. In the hangar bay, hundreds of fighter ships waited. In the weapons bay, thousands of missiles stood ready. We launch in 3 days, Sung-ho told his crew. Our target is the home system. They are the Council's military power. We break them first. We hit their shipyards, their stations, their fleet. We show the galaxy that humans are not prey. General Jinho trained his soldiers. These were special forces, the best of the best. They practiced boarding ships, fighting in zero gravity and using the new weapons. Every soldier knew they might die. None of them cared. They wanted revenge. Dr. Bin made final adjustments to the Wraith drones. These robot ships had no crew. They were controlled by advanced AI. They could think and react faster than any living pilot. They were the perfect weapon. On the 29th day, President Yang addressed the planet one last time before the attack. Tomorrow the Council expects our surrender. They expect us to bow. They expect us to accept slavery. Instead, they will receive war. Not because we want it, not because we are violent, but because they left us no choice. They killed an innocent man. They threatened our freedom. And humanity does not bow. We rise, we fight, we win. He paused and looked directly into the camera. To the Galactic Council, you executed our ambassador to send a message. Tomorrow, we send our reply, and our message will be written in fire across your stars. The broadcast ended. The clock ticked down. 30 days were almost up. The human fleet powered up their engines. Admiral Sung-ho sat in his command chair. Around him, hundreds of ships waited, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and the Wraith drones, thousands of them ready to kill. All ships report ready, an officer said. Sung-ho nodded. Then let us begin. Engage quantum drives. Target space. Let them see what humanity can do. The fleet vanished in flashes of light. They jumped through folded space, crossing 100 light years in seconds. The war had begun. The home system was peaceful that morning. 3 military stations orbited the planet. Hundreds of warships moved between them. Workers on the massive shipyards built new vessels. It was a normal day. Then reality broke open. The human fleet appeared without warning. One moment space was empty. The next moment, 300 warships materialized from quantum jumps. They appeared inside the defensive perimeter, too close for them to react. Admiral Sung-ho Nam stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Around him, screens showed targeting data. All ships, he said calmly, weapons free, fire at will. The first missiles launched. They were not normal missiles. These were quantum disruption warheads. When they hit the first station, reality screamed. A tiny black hole appeared for 3 seconds. The station, 10 kilometers wide and home to 50,000, was crushed into a point smaller than an atom. Then it exploded. The flash was visible from the planet below. The second station tried to raise shields, too slow. Human plasma cannons burned through their hull like paper. The station broke in half. Atmosphere vented into space. Thousands died in seconds. The third station started shooting back. Their weapons hit human ships, but the shields held. Human technology was better. They had grown soft over centuries of peace. Humans had never stopped making weapons. The difference showed. Captain Min commanded the destroyer Retribution. She was only 30 years old, but she was the best tactical officer in the fleet. Her ship moved like a dancer, dodging enemy fire while her weapons tore through cruisers. "Arya," she said to her ship's AI, "target their command ship. I want it disabled, not destroyed." "Confirmed," the artificial intelligence replied. The voice was smooth and female. "Calculating firing solution. Target acquired. Firing." A single missile hit the flagship. It did not explode. Instead, it released an electromagnetic pulse. Every system on the flagship died. The ship went dark. It drifted helplessly. Good, Min said. Now the shipyards, those are priority targets. The shipyards floated in orbit, massive structures where new warships were built. They could produce 100 ships per year. Admiral Sung Ho had ordered them destroyed. Without shipyards, they could not replace their losses. The human bombers moved in. These were piloted by the Wraith AI drones. They flew in perfect formation, too perfect for any living pilot. Fighters tried to intercept them. The Wraiths learned the enemy tactics in seconds and adapted. They split into groups, confusing the defenders. They fired missiles that twisted and turned, impossible to dodge. One by one, the shipyards died. Explosions bloomed in the darkness. Decades of construction work vanished in minutes. On the planet below, the people watched their sky burn. They had thought they were safe. They had thought their military was strong. They were wrong. Meanwhile, General Jinho Park led a different mission. His transport ship, carrying 500 elite soldiers, approached Nexus Prime, the space station where one had been murdered. This was personal. Remember, Jinho told his troops, we are not here to kill civilians. We are here to send a message. We enter the council chamber. We make them understand. Then we leave. The transport docked at a maintenance port. Human engineers had hacked the station's systems days before. The doors opened for them. The soldiers moved through corridors like ghosts. Their armor was black, designed for stealth. They encountered station security, alien guards with energy weapons. The fighting was brief and brutal. Human soldiers had trained for this. They moved as one unit. When a guard appeared, 3 humans fired at once. The aliens never had a chance. Within 20 minutes, Jinho's team reached the council chamber. Inside, the Galactic Council was in emergency session. They were discussing the attack on space. They were arguing about how to respond. They did not know death was walking through their halls. Jinho burst through the doors. His soldiers spread out, weapons raised. The aliens froze in shock. Nobody move, Jinho said. His voice was amplified by his helmet. We are not here to kill you, not yet. Chancellor stood up. His gray skin had gone pale. How did you get in here? This station has the best security in the galaxy. Jinho walked forward. He removed his helmet. The aliens saw his face. They saw his cold eyes. You killed my friend in this room. You murdered him for trying to make peace. Do you remember? His forearms trembled slightly. The human, yes, he broke our laws. He broke no laws, Jinho said. He spoke truth. He refused to make his people slaves. For that you killed him. He gestured around the chamber. This is where it happened, right here. Where is the spot? One of his soldiers pointed. There, sir, the scorch mark is still visible. Jinho walked to the spot where one had died. He knelt down. He touched the floor. Then he stood and looked up at the council members. My people have a saying, Jinho said. An eye for an eye. You took one of ours, we could take one of yours. We could execute you right here, right now. That would be justice. The council members looked terrified. Some tried to run. Human soldiers blocked the exits. But we will not, Jinho continued. Do you know why? Because we are not like you. We do not murder diplomats. We do not kill the unarmed. We are better than you. He pulled out a small device. It glowed with blue light. This is a quantum beacon. I am placing it here where my friend died. From now on, this beacon will track every council member. If any human is harmed in your territory, we will know. We will know who gave the order. We will know where you are, and we will come for you. He activated the beacon and placed it on the floor. This is not a negotiation. This is a warning. You wanted to send a message by killing Ambassador. We are sending our reply. If you harm one human, we will destroy your entire civilization. Not occupy it, not conquer it, destroy it, wipe it from existence. Jinho put his helmet back on. We are leaving now. Do not follow us. Do not try to remove that beacon. It is protected by quantum encryption. If you tamper with it, it will explode. The explosion will destroy this station and everyone on it. The soldiers moved back toward the door. Jinho stopped and looked at one more time. You thought humans were weak. You thought we would bow. You were wrong. We are not the prey. We are the predator. Remember that. The human team left. The council members sat in shocked silence. Some cried. Some prayed to their gods. All of them understood everything had changed. Back in space, the battle was ending. The human fleet had destroyed 3 stations, 45 warships, and all the shipyards. The fleet was broken. Dead ships drifted everywhere. Debris filled the orbit. Admiral Sung Ho received casualty reports. 37 human soldiers killed. 4 ships damaged, none destroyed. The had lost 15,000 military personnel and countless civilians who were on the stations. Sir, an officer said, the government is broadcasting. They want to surrender. Sung Ho shook his head. Tell them we are not here to accept surrender. We are here to teach a lesson. Tell them this. What happened today will happen to any species that threatens Earth. The Council started this war. We will finish it on our terms. The human fleet began to withdraw. They jumped back into quantum space, vanishing as suddenly as they appeared. Behind them, space burned. News of the attack spread across the galaxy in hours. Species that had never heard of humans suddenly knew the name Earth. They saw the battle recordings. They saw the destroyed stations. They saw the power of human weapons. The Galactic Council called emergency sessions. Every species was afraid. The humans had appeared from nowhere, destroyed a major military power, and disappeared again. They had ignored all defenses. They had weapons the Council did not understand. In the Council chamber, with Jin Ho's beacon glowing on the floor, the members debated what to do. Some wanted to negotiate. Some wanted total war. Some wanted to run and hide. But they all agreed on one thing. They had made a terrible mistake. They had killed one human to show their power. Now humanity had killed thousands to show theirs. The message was clear. The galaxy had a new power, and that power was angry. On Earth, people celebrated. They held parades. They chanted Admiral Sung Ho's name. They cried tears of relief and pride. For the first time since first contact, humans felt safe. President Yang addressed the planet. Today we showed the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity. We did not start this war, but we will end it, on our terms. In a quiet cemetery in Seoul, Jin stood beside her husband's grave. She placed flowers on the stone. They know now, she whispered. They know you were right. Humanity remembers, and we never forgive. The war was just beginning. The Galactic Council was broken. Chancellor had been removed from power. They demanded his head for the disaster. A new leader took his place, Counselor X, a diplomat from the species. She had blue skin and silver eyes that looked almost human. X was smarter than. She understood humans were dangerous. But she also understood that if the Council backed down now, they would lose all authority. 47 species looked to the Council for protection. If the Council could not stop one small planet, why would anyone follow their laws? She stood before the Council members. We have 2 choices, she said. We can negotiate with the humans and accept them as equals, or we can crush them completely and show the galaxy that the Council still has power. Which do you choose? The debate lasted for hours. Some species wanted peace, others wanted revenge. In the end, fear won. The Council could not appear weak. We will assemble the Grand Armada, X declared. 500 warships from 12 species. We will go to Earth. We will show them our full military might. Then they will surrender or face destruction. It took 3 weeks to gather the fleet. Ships came from all over the galaxy. The Council had not assembled such a force in 300 years. The Armada was massive, stretching across space for thousands of kilometers. It was designed to intimidate. It was designed to break the human spirit. On Earth, sensors detected the approaching fleet. Alarms rang across the planet. President Yang called another emergency meeting. They are coming, Defense Minister 1 said. She pointed at the holographic display showing the enemy fleet. 500 capital ships, thousands of fighter craft, millions of soldiers. They will be here in 5 days. Some leaders looked afraid. Some looked determined. President Yang stood. Then we show them what happens when they come to our home. This is our solar system. This is our territory. Here, we have every advantage. One smiled. Operation Aegis is ready. We have spent the last month preparing Sol system for this exact scenario. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid is now a weapon. Dr. Bin appeared on screen. We have deployed weapons throughout the system. Hidden bases on Mars, Europa, Titan. The moon has massive rail guns built into the surface. We have orbital platforms armed with antimatter bombs, and we have the solar array. What is that? A leader asked. We have placed satellites around the sun, Bin explained. Thousands of them. They can focus the sun's energy into a directed beam. Essentially, we have turned our star into a weapon. When the enemy fleet arrives, they will not be facing one planet. They will be facing an entire weaponized solar system. Admiral Sung Ho added, and we have the home advantage. They are coming to us. They must travel through our territory. We can hit them at any point. They cannot surprise us, but we can surprise them. The preparations began. Every human in Sol system worked around the clock. Civilian ships were evacuated from the outer planets. Military ships took positions throughout the system. Hidden bases powered up their weapons. The trap was set. 5 days later, the Council Armada arrived. They entered Sol system near Neptune. Their plan was simple: travel through the system, destroying any resistance until they reached Earth. Then they would bombard the planet until humans surrendered. But the humans did not wait for them to come. As the Armada passed Jupiter, the hidden bases on Europa activated. Missiles launched from under the ice, hundreds of them streaking toward the fleet. The aliens raised their shields and destroyed most of the missiles, but 3 hit. 3 ships died. What was that? Admiral or the fleet commander demanded. There should be nothing here. His sensor officer checked the readings. Sir, I am detecting weapon platforms on the moons. They are hidden. We cannot see them with our scanners. Before or could respond, more attacks came, this time from the asteroid belt. Rocks that should have been lifeless suddenly moved. They were not asteroids. They were drones, camouflaged to look like space debris. They slammed into the fleet at high speed. 10 more ships were destroyed. The Council fleet began to spread out, trying to present a smaller target, but that made them more vulnerable. Human attack ships appeared from behind Mars, their stealth technology keeping them invisible until they fired. The battle was chaos. Lieutenant Wu Song flew his fighter through the combat. He was young, only 23, but he had trained his whole life for this. His neural interface connected his brain directly to his ship. He thought, and the ship moved. No delay, no hesitation. Blue Squadron, form up on me, he called. We are going after their carrier. 12 fighters followed him. They dove through enemy fire, twisting and dodging. The Council fighters tried to intercept, but they were too slow. Human pilots were faster, more aggressive. They had spent thousands of years fighting each other. They knew every trick. Wu's squadron reached the enemy carrier. They fired missiles. The carrier's shields held against the first wave, but Wu had expected that. Switched to quantum warheads. Fire. The second wave hit. The carrier's shields failed. The missiles penetrated the hull. The massive ship began to break apart. That's for Ambassador, Wu said quietly. The battle raged for 3 days. The Council fleet kept advancing, but every kilometer cost them. Human weapons were everywhere. The moon opened fire with its rail guns, sending metal slugs at a fraction of light speed. The orbital platforms released antimatter bombs that vaporized anything they touched. The Council lost 50 ships before they even reached Earth orbit. Admiral Orr was furious. How are they doing this? They are one planet, one species. How do they have so many weapons? His sensor officer had no answer. The truth was simple. Humans had spent their entire history making weapons. While other species had centuries of peace, humans had constant war. They were very, very good at killing. But the Council fleet was still strong. 450 ships remained. They formed a battle line around Earth. They prepared to bombard the planet. In Geneva, President Yang watched the tactical display. The enemy fleet was in position. "How long until they fire?" he asked. "Minutes," Admiral Sung-ho replied. His face was grim. "We have hurt them, but they are still too strong if they bombard Earth." "Then we use it," Defense Minister once said. Everyone turned to look at her. "The Oblivion Protocol." The room went silent. Everyone knew what that meant. It was the ultimate weapon, the weapon they had sworn never to use. "Explain," Yang said. Dr. Bin appeared on screen. She looked tired. "The Oblivion Protocol is a device that can cause a star to go supernova. We place it near a sun, activate it, and the star explodes. Everything in the system dies. We can deploy it to any of the Council home systems. We can destroy their entire civilization." "That is genocide," one leader said. "Billions would die." "Yes," one said coldly, "but so will everyone on Earth if we do nothing. The question is, do we value our lives more than theirs?" President Yang closed his eyes. It was the hardest decision any leader had ever faced. Genocide or surrender. There had to be another way. "We give them one last chance," he said. "We show them we have the Oblivion Protocol. We prove we can use it. If they still attack, then—" He could not finish the sentence. General Jinho Park volunteered to deliver the message. He took a small ship and flew toward the enemy fleet. They could have destroyed him easily, but they let him through. They wanted to hear what he had to say. Jinho's ship docked with the Council flagship. He walked onto the bridge. Admiral or stared at him. "You are brave to come here, human." "I am not here for bravery," Jinho said. "I am here to save lives, yours and mine." He pulled out a data pad. "This contains calculations, proof of a weapon we have developed. It is called the Oblivion Protocol. It can destroy a star." Or laughed. "Impossible. No species has that technology." "Then let me prove it." Jinho uploaded data to the flagship's computer. "These are the calculations, the delivery system, the yield, everything. Your scientists can verify it. You have 1 hour." While the Council scientists checked the data, Jinho stood on the bridge. He looked at the enemy crew. They looked back at him with fear and anger. He understood. From their perspective, humans were monsters. "We did not want this war," Jinho said quietly. "Your Council killed our ambassador. You threatened our planet. You left us no choice. But it is not too late. We can stop this now before more die." 50 minutes later, the head scientist reported to Orr. "Admiral, the calculations are correct. This weapon can work if they deploy it to our home stars." He did not finish. Everyone understood. Or looked at Jinho. "You would really do this, kill billions of innocents?" Jinho met his eyes. "Would you? You were about to bombard Earth. How many humans would die? Billions, so yes. If you force us to choose between your people and ours, we choose ours, every time." The truth hung in the air. Neither side wanted this, but neither side could back down without losing face. "Give us this," Jinho said. "Withdraw your fleet. We will not pursue. We will not activate the weapon. We can end this now." Or looked at the tactical display. His fleet still outnumbered the humans, but he had seen their weapons. He had watched 50 ships die, and now they had this ultimate weapon. Could he risk it? He made his decision. Admiral Orr stood on his bridge and made the hardest call of his life. "All ships," he ordered, his voice heavy, "withdraw from Earth space. We are leaving." The Council fleet turned and began to move away. On Earth, people watched their screens in disbelief. They were winning. The enemy was retreating. Cheers erupted across the planet. People danced in the streets. They had survived. But the war was not over, not yet. 6 months passed. The Galactic Council was falling apart. 17 species left the Council, saying it could no longer protect them. Some formed their own alliances. Others declared neutrality. The galaxy was changing. Counselor X watched her power crumble. The council that had ruled for 1,000 years was dying, all because of one execution, one mistake, one planet called Earth. She made a decision, a desperate one. She sent a message to President Yang. "I request a peace summit," the message said. "I will come to Earth. I will bring representatives from all remaining council species. We will negotiate an end to this conflict. Please, no more killing." President Yang discussed it with his cabinet. Some wanted to refuse. Some wanted to demand unconditional surrender. But Yang remembered something one had said before leaving for Nexus Prime. "We seek peace first. Always." "We accept," Yang replied. "But the summit happens here on Earth. You come to us." 3 weeks later, alien ships arrived in Earth orbit. This time they came in peace, unarmed. Shuttles descended to Geneva. The aliens stepped out onto human soil for the first time. Counselor X led the delegation. She looked around at the city, at the humans watching from buildings and streets. She saw their faces: anger, pride, caution, but not hate. That surprised her. Jin met the aliens at the landing pad. She was now Secretary General of the United Earth Government, the highest diplomatic position on the planet. She looked at X with cold eyes. "Welcome to Earth," Jin said. Her voice was polite but hard. "Follow me, we have much to discuss." They walked through Geneva. The aliens saw a city that had been bombed during the siege but was already rebuilt. They saw construction everywhere. They saw humans working together with determination. In 6 months, Earth had healed its wounds. That scared the aliens more than the weapons had. The summit was held in the same building where the United Earth Government met. Jin sat at the head of a long table. X and 20 other alien representatives sat along the sides. Human officials filled the rest of the seats. Admiral Sung Ho was there. General Jin Ho Park stood against the wall, watching. Dr. Bin attended via hologram. "Let us begin," Jin said. "You requested this summit, you want peace. So do we, but peace has a price." X nodded. She had expected this. "What are your terms?" Jin pulled up a holographic document. "First, the Galactic Council must formally apologize for the execution of Ambassador 1. You must acknowledge it was a war crime. You must admit you were wrong." One alien started to protest. X silenced him with a gesture. "Agreed." "Second," Jin continued, "a memorial will be built on Nexus Prime honoring my husband. It will be placed in the council chamber where he died. Every council member will see it every day and remember what happens when you murder diplomats." "Agreed," X said quietly. "Third, humanity receives full council membership. We have veto power over any decision. We will never be subjects. We will be equals, or better." Several aliens shifted uncomfortably, but they nodded. Agreed. "Fourth, any species found guilty of executing diplomats will face immediate expulsion from the council and economic sanctions. This will never happen again." "Agreed." "Fifth, and this is non-negotiable," Jin's voice grew harder, "the council's military will adopt humanitarian warfare protocols, rules of engagement, protection for civilians, treatment of prisoners. You will learn to fight with honor or you will not fight at all." X almost laughed at the irony. Humans, the most violent species in the galaxy, demanding humanitarian rules, but she understood. Humans knew war, they knew its horrors, they wanted to limit them. "Agreed to all terms," X said. "Is there anything else?" Jin leaned back. "Yes, one more thing. Every species in this room will sign a treaty. If any of you attack Earth or harm humans again, the others must help us. The Council becomes our ally, or it dissolves. Choose." The room was silent. The aliens looked at each other. They had come here as rulers of the galaxy. Now they were signing a treaty that made them junior partners to humanity. It was humiliating. But it was better than dying. One by one they signed. The treaty was complete. The war was over. Admiral Sung-Ho Nam oversaw the next phase. The Council's military was inspected and regulated. Human advisors visited their fleets. They taught the aliens new tactics. They shared technology. Slowly, the galaxy's military forces modernized. They became stronger, but they also became more responsible. General Jinho Park accepted a new role. He became Earth's first ambassador to the reformed Galactic Council. The irony was not lost on him. He stood in the same chamber where one had died. Now a statue of his friend stood there, 10 meters tall. Every council member saw it when they entered. Jinho's first speech as ambassador echoed across the galaxy. My predecessor came in peace and was murdered for it. I come in peace too, but I come backed by the full power of Earth's military. The choice of how you respond is yours. Choose peace, and we will be your greatest ally. Choose violence, and you will learn why that was a mistake. The message was clear. Humanity offered friendship, but they were not afraid to fight. Dr. Bin began sharing Earth's technology with the galaxy, medical advances, clean energy, agricultural techniques. Billions of aliens benefited. Diseases were cured. Famine ended on several worlds. Humans gave freely what they could have sold for profit. The galaxy's opinion of humanity began to change. At first, they saw humans as violent savages. Now they saw them as dangerous but fair, strong but generous, terrifying but principled. Captain Min received command of a new flagship. It was named the Ambassador One. It was the most powerful warship in the galaxy. Its mission was simple: patrol known space and ensure peace. The crew was mixed, humans and aliens working together. On the bridge, Min worked alongside an officer named. He was young, the son of a soldier who died in the battle for space. At first, he hated humans, but working with them changed his mind. "Your people killed my father," said one day. Min nodded. "And your people killed our ambassador. War makes orphans of us all, but we can choose to end the cycle. We can choose to be better." Thought about that. Your species is strange. You are the best at war, but you want peace more than anyone. "Because we know the cost of war," Min replied. "We have fought each other for thousands of years. We know the pain. We know the loss. We do not want that for anyone else." Lieutenant Wu Song became an instructor. He taught alien pilots human combat tactics. His classes were the most popular in the galaxy. Pilots came from dozens of species to learn from the humans who had defeated the Council fleet. "The secret," Wu told his students, "is not technology, it is mindset. You must be willing to sacrifice everything for your people. You must train until your body moves without thinking. You must love your like family. That is what makes humans dangerous, not our weapons, our unity." Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. The orbital defenses remained. The hidden bases stayed active. Earth would never be unprepared again, but the fear faded. People felt safe. In Seoul, Jin visited her husband's grave. Fresh flowers covered the stone. People left them every day. One had become a symbol, a reminder that peace has a price, and sometimes that price is paid in blood. "We did it," Jin whispered. "The galaxy has changed. They respect us now. Not because we are strong, because we are just. We fight when we must. We forgive when we can. We remember always." She placed her hand on the stone. "Thank you for showing us the way. Your death was not in vain." Years passed. A new species made contact with the galaxy. They were aggressive. They refused to follow the Council's laws. They attacked a peaceful world that was under human protection. The response was immediate, not just from Earth, from the entire Council. A coalition fleet assembled. Humans led it, but dozens of species joined. The message was unified: the galaxy would not tolerate aggression. The new species looked at the fleet facing them. Hundreds of ships, united, determined. They saw humans standing alongside former enemies. They saw the power of the Reformed Council. They chose to negotiate. The diplomat who handled the negotiation was a human named Yang Jr., the son of the former president. He was young but skilled. He had learned from Jin herself. "We do not want war," Yang Jr. told the aliens. "We want you to join the galactic community, to trade, to learn, to grow, but you must follow the rules, you must respect others. If you do that, we will welcome you. If you do not," he gestured at the fleet behind him, "then we will teach you the hard way." The new species agreed. They signed the treaty, they joined the council, and they learned that the galaxy had changed. It was no longer ruled by fear. It was ruled by cooperation, backed by strength. On Earth, in the Memorial Gardens, Ambassador One's statue stood tall. The inscription read his last words: "You do not know what you have started. Humanity remembers." Beneath it, Jin had added new words: "And humanity endures, and humanity protects, and humanity leads." The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never underestimate humanity, never threaten those under their protection, and never ever harm their diplomats. The age of the old council was over. The age of humanity's galaxy had begun, not through conquest, not through submission, but through strength tempered with justice, through power used to protect, not to oppress. The council had executed a human envoy to send a message about their power. Earth's response, total annihilation of the old order, had sent a clearer message. Humanity would not bow. They would rise. They would fight. They would win. And then, once they won, they would help their enemies rebuild. On human terms, with human values, with human protection. The galaxy was better for it, safer, more just, more free. And it all started with one man who refused to bow. One ambassador who died for peace. One species that remembered and never forgave. But also never forgot to be merciful. That was humanity's greatest strength. Not their weapons, not their technology, not their tactics. Their ability to be both the most dangerous predator and the most compassionate protector in the galaxy. That was what made them truly unstoppable.